Hi, this is Carrie from Tone Wars. We're going to go live in just a few minutes, but before we do, I just wanted to take a few seconds to say a few things. Jared and I really appreciate when you guys tune in and interact with us when we go live. We work very hard to make sure that our live streams and our produced videos are educational and entertaining for everyone. Believe it or not, there's a lot of work that goes into our live streams and our produced videos. So if you like what you're experiencing here, here's a couple ways you can help us out. The Super Chat feature is turned on and any amount will be appreciated. Jared is also available for private consultation for a nominal fee. You can contact Jared through two of the links below. One is through our Tone Wars Facebook page and the other is through email. So thank you so much for your support. The live stream's about ready to start, so go pour yourself your favorite glass of whiskey or other libation and we'll be right with you. Cheers!
Welcome to Tone Wars. What's up, everybody? Thanks for waiting. So glad you're here tonight. I appreciate everyone joining me tonight for a special occasion. Yeah, I've been really waiting to do this one. So, yeah, as you can see, I have the Victory, the Super Kraken right here, 100 watt amp. And then, of course, I have the EVH 5153 100 watt amp as well. Quite a bit different in size. I mean, as you can see, the Kraken is quite a bit smaller. The EVH weighs around 55 pounds, if I remember correctly, and this is the Kraken is 27. Same wattage though, so it's pretty unusual that they would weigh that differently from each other and be that different in size. That said, this is pretty much a 2.5 channel, I guess you could say, and then this is obviously a 3-channel amp. So both of them sound really good. I had a lot of fun dialing these guys in, and they are very different. I've heard a lot of things about these. Like, so I've had a lot of people say, oh, the Kraken is kind of like a 5150 but enhanced. You know, and like an amalgamation between a 5150 and a Marshall or something like that. I'm getting the Kraken you'll hear it in a little bit here. I'm going to do the 5150 first and the Kraken second and some mixes and by itself, but the Victory Kraken has its own thing going on. It's got its own voicing, it's got its own feel, and we'll go over all that, but I just wanted to shoot it out with the 5150, and a lot of people are asking me, well, is that a fair shootout, or is that apples to apples, or whatever? But honestly, 5150 is a benchmark. It's like the gold standard metal amp, right? I mean, if something doesn't match up to that, then it just doesn't match up, period, right? I mean, so why not use a 5150 to for a benchmark to see how this guy sounds? So I want to give a quick shout out to Motor City Guitar. There's a link below. If you want to shop there, they ship all over the U.S. and they're a great store, fantastic staff, great prices, lots of selection. They got 10 of everything. It's the biggest store in Michigan. If they don't have it, I'd be surprised. Very community-oriented store. Marty, the owner, is a great guy. And I just love going there. All my friends love going there. It's it's a great place to shop. So if you're looking for some gear, click on the link and do some shopping. Because again, if you live in the States, they'll ship to you and they give you really good prices. And if you're close enough in the tri-state area here near Michigan, they're worth the drive because you could literally spend a whole day there and still not see everything. It's an amazing store. So they let me take the EVH home so I can compare it to this. And a friend of mine who said he wanted to remain anonymous, I talked to him about, you know who you are, you're probably watching. I talked to him about having this amp on the show, so he let me take it and use it for tonight's episode and, and see what it's made of. And I've had it for a couple days now, and it's been really fun getting to know this amp. I never thought I would have a chance to see a Victory Kraken, let alone have one in my house and play it and Like literally, like you know how you can play through something in a store, and that's great. But taking it home for a few days and getting to know it and dialing it in and trying a bunch of stuff on it, it's been an absolute pleasure to get to know this thing. It is a really cool amplifier. So I want to thank you, and again, you know who you are, for letting me do this. I really appreciate it. And I try to give you guys good content and new stuff all the time, stuff that you're, you know, a lot of people ask me for things, and I also try to do stuff that I think is unique as well. Let me jump in the chat here and say hi to some people before we get on with the stuff here on my phone. Oh, we got 21 people here already. Awesome. Aaron Short, what's going on, buddy? Hope you got your voice back from Nam. He says Victory amps are cool. Yes, they are. This ain't no teen crumpets amp either. I know it's made in England, but this is like, you know, not that at all. It's a rage monster. What's up, Mark Bowers? How are you doing? JJ's House of Jams. What's going on, man? Good to see you here. Aaron Short already said hi to you. EVH is huge. EVH is huge. He says, "Yeah, I know. The thing's crazy. You can land a plane on this freaking amp. It's huge." Brett Murphy, Motor City is king. Yes, it is. Good to see you here, buddy. Darth Vapor. It's also the most aggressive sounding, pretty much, this I can think of. Yes, very, very aggressive amp. J. Rod Thompson, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you here. Ben Burnett, what's up? Driving home in an ice storm. Oh, man. Well, hopefully you're listening and not watching. Drive safe, buddy. I hope you get home safe. You know, so anyways, well, again, I want to thank everybody for being here. And I know I'm kind of being a jerk by starting with the EVH and not the Kraken, but you know, I got to do something to keep you guys here, right? So my shining personality is not enough to do that. Let's play a few riffs on this. I know I play a lot of the same riffs, but they're my tire kicking riffs, and they tell me things. And that's the reason why I play a lot of the similar riffs on these amplifiers, is because if I keep changing my riffs up, when I'm kicking the tires, I won't really know, you know, what I'm getting here. So, and plus, I feel like the riffs that I'm playing tell you things as well. I'm doing some palm mute, some harmonics, you know, single notes, short little runs, you know, chords, whatever. And it just tells me how big and fat, percussive, and responsive the amp is. And it just gives me a general idea of the tone overall and note separation. So let me do a couple riffs. And this is the 5150. Make sure I got everything going here. Everything's on. Let me mute the mic. Holy crap. God, that amp just crushes. Oh, gosh. Signal chain. What you're hearing, let me turn this fan off. What you're hearing is EVH and both amps will be hooked to my Mesa 212 with vintage 30s in it, and it's mic'd with a Sennheiser E609 going out to you guys through a mixing console and an interface. You know, a Presonus, what is that thing? Audio box interface. Nothing fancy. I don't have a bunch of pre's and all that kind of stuff on it. Just simple setup. No EQ, nothing, no tricks, no nothing. Just a simple setup. And I am boosting the amp with both amps. I'll be boosting with the Horizon Devices Precision Drive. I have the attack knob up just one notch tonight, and I found that both of these amps are really tight to begin with. And if I turn the attack knob up too high, it would overly tighten them up and make them sound too thin and stringy. And I don't want that. I want that big beefy chunk. So I only have the attack knob up one notch. I have the volume up to like 1 o'clock. The I think it's called tone. I can't read it. Bright is pretty much at noon, and the gain is all the way down. These amps are ridiculous, so I don't need any gain. I usually don't have any. If I do, I just have a hair like at 7 o'clock or 6:30, just to give it a little nudge. Because I always say it because I paid for it, so I might as well use it. So that's pretty much it. So yeah, how does that sound to you guys? By the way, cheers. Having a little bit of Buffalo Trace whiskey tonight. I still got to work out, so I'm just going to have a teeny bit. Just keep the nerves down. Let's see here. Chicago Todd in the house. What's up, buddy? Good to see you here, man. Always good to see you. Let's see. Rod Esp. I got the VX Kraken 50 watt version. Oh, nice, man. How do you like it? How does it compare to other amps that you have used? I'd like to know. I haven't used that one. Jeff Cornell, kick the tire. Kick that tire. Yes, and kick the tire I did. And hopefully the riffs that I played showed you things that, you know, maybe you're looking for. They definitely tell me stuff. That's why I use a lot of the same riffs. Mark Bowers says, sounds great. Oh, it does, man. This thing is an absolute beast. The thing that I noticed about the EVH amps is that they have a lot of electric kind of sound coming out of them. There's a lot of hair. A lot of hair on the end of all those notes. A lot of spread. They have a big sound. A lot of texture. A lot of character. And what's great about that is in a mix, all those things really help you stand out in a mix. Now here's the thing, in a mix it's important to have your obviously your notes and your guitar tone stand out, but more importantly, like the texture and the dynamics of your playing need to stand out. And the EVH has that in spades. I mean, there's so much character and texture there. You can almost feel it when you're listening to the music. You can almost it's like Braille guitar sound. You could run your hands over the speakers and you could feel that guitar, the texture, the grainy texture sticking out of the speakers. It's amazing. And it accentuates all your notes and all your riffs, your palm mutes, your single notes, your harmonics, your pinch harmonics. All that stuff is just so accentuated with that amp. It's a drier tone. It's not real juicy. It's kind of got, and I don't mean this in a bad way. It's not a derogatory comment. It's kind of a brittly, like dry, crumbly tone. And that's where all that texture comes from. It's not real juicy. It doesn't have a lot of chewiness to it, but it has enough so that you can dig in and do your thing. And it does definitely support the notes that I'm playing. And it feels great to play, especially when I push it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a couple of stupid riffs with the Horizon Devices Precision Drive off. I'll go ahead and turn that off right now. And then in the middle of that, I'm going to turn it on. You'll see me reach up with my foot. That's how you know it's on. You should hear a difference too. So let me do that, and we'll get started on some mixes after that. definitely loves to be boosted. It acts very well with the boost. I get people sometimes, oh, you don't need a boost, blah, blah, blah. Hey, it all depends on what you're playing. It depends on your style, how much sustain you want, how big your sound you want your sound to be. There's a lot of variables. So, I boost pretty much every amp because I want that sustain. I want that chunkiness. I want that responsiveness, and I don't want to have to beat the hell out of my guitar to get it. Some guys like beating the hell out of their guitars. I don't. It's just not the way I play. My boost is on all the time, no matter if I'm doing solos or rhythms. It's always on. And for you guys that doubt that, what I would challenge you to do is get a boost pedal, like a Horizon Devices Precision Drive or a Screamer or a Scream 808 or whatever. Put it in front of your amp and play with it. Turn the volume all the way up, tone in the middle, gain all the way down, and play with it for 15 minutes. And then turn it off and play. And if you're not noticing a big difference in how the amp supports your playing, I don't know what to tell you. If you're playing tight riffs and stuff like that, a boost pedal is really going to help. And it doesn't add gain; it just adds a nice attack and some aggression to the amp. You're not looking for more gain; you're just looking for an amp that's pushed, so that it gives you that really nice. It's like a nitrous button, for your guitar. So it just gives you a lot of great support. Harmonics ring out better, they ping better, they last longer. Sound like a Big Red commercial now. But, all the notes just stand out and sing better too. So I always suggest it. You always get people that want to, gain shame you or pedal shame you and like, oh, you don't need a boost. Well, I guess it's like telling a race car driver he doesn't need those special tires and that transmission and the fairings and the special aerodynamics on the car to be able to go around the track. He should be able to do that with a station wagon. Well, if you're that good of a driver, you could win races in a station wagon. Well, I beg to differ, So I hope I covered that well. Aaron Short says, this is making me want a real amp again. Dude, I'm telling you, ever since I got back into doing all the amp reviews and stuff, I'm an amp guy 100% now. I mean, I love the digital stuff too for convenience sake, but I will never, ever, ever be one of those guys that says, oh, this digital thingy is just as good as an amp, because they're not. They are not at all. They're good for convenience, but none of that stuff, even a Kemper, as great as the Kemper is, it doesn't sound like what I'm dealing with right now in the room. It comes close, but amps are irreplaceable. Darth Vapor says, punchy. Yes, it is. It's so punchy. I want really modern, tight, and defined. Sorry, I forgot my glasses. I want really modern and tight and defined, not much sag and crunchy. Yeah, I mean, both of these amps will have that. There's just enough give in the feel so that you can feel the interaction between the pick and the strings and all that. So you can feel all that really well. There's lots of great support. Yeah, I mean, it's very modern sounding. It's got lots of attack, and it's really chunky, and that's what I want. Punchy, chunky. Now, here's the other thing, too. The other trick is get a 212. 412s are great cabinets, and they have a pretty big sound, but they're very woofy and airy. A 212 is very focused, but it still sounds really big. It resonates really well, but it gives you that really punchy sound, and I'll never go back. I love the 212s. They're amazing. And they're easier to carry around, So, all right, so try not to drink a lot, even though I'm really thirsty. Because I hate having to go to the bathroom in the middle of a freaking live stream. Tubes, baby, Jeff says. That's right, man. Tubes are the bomb. Aaron Short asks, does the Synergy hold up to the Kraken? Is it the real deal? Yeah, I mean, the Synergy stuff's great. If you pair it with the Syn 5050 power amp, yeah, I mean, they sound awesome. They're great. But the Kraken's just its own thing. So if they made a Kraken module to go in the Synergy system, I'm sure it would hold up to it. It's just this thing right here, and you guys will hear it later. It's its own freaking thing, and it's amazing. Let's see here. The 50 watt stealth looks tempting, J-Rod says. Oh yeah, dude. Motor City's going to get those. I checked on those, and they're coming in soon. And when they get them, I'm going to have one parked right here, and we're going to do a whole night dedicated to the 50 watt stealth, the new one. I can't wait to get that thing in here, because they changed some things. The voicing's a little different, and I can't wait to check that out. Let's see, they are both great, Rod says. Yeah, they are. House of Jams uses the 50 watt and 4 cable method with the Helix. Huge tones. That's what I got going on here. You can't see it, but I got a Helix in front of me, and it's all 4 cable method. That's where you're getting all the effects and switching. Except I won't be doing any switching tonight. I'm just using it for effects. Ben Burnett. It's not about gain, it's about harmonic structure. Songs like the stripper song could never be done without boosts. You're right, man. No, Ben's right. I mean, it is like he was talking about the overdrive pedal. It's not about adding more gain. It's just about sculpting the tone and enhancing the amp and making it more responsive. All right. Helix Cabana Boy, Synergy Power Amp. What's going on, Darren, by the way? And 4 channels with 2 rack spaces appealing. Oh, it is, man. Yeah, I'm going to have a Synergy night soon. As soon as the new modules come out, I'm going to dedicate a whole night to Synergy. And we'll do all that. So, Warm Chord Music. What's up, playa? All right. What's up, Dave? How you doing, man? All right. We got a lot of people here. 31. Thank you for joining me. You only missed a couple of my stupid tire kicking riffs. So let's get started with the old standards, huh? Let's get started with the 3 old standards that I judge every amp by, and I think we're all kind of used to those by now. I'm going to play them all in a row, and then we'll catch up. So let me mute the mic, and here we go. Nice. Yeah, it supported all my riffs, even my mistakes, pretty well. Yeah, sounded really good, felt good, cut through the mix really well. Um, I'm gonna play a couple of the riffs that are in these songs so I can point out why I play these songs. I actually wrote these songs for the very purpose of checking out amps and seeing what they do. Some of them I'll probably turn into full-blown songs for my band Anastasi. Some of them I'll just keep for Tone Wars. Um, like the last one is actually going to be a full-blown song. But there's riffs in there that I wrote specifically for tire kicking riffs that are musical so that I, don't drive myself nuts playing them, obviously. So let me play a couple. I'm just looking for response. I'm looking for interaction with the strings. I want a thick, rich, punchy kind of thing with the strings. Even like these three, the bottom three strings. I want them to sound thick and full and percussive and beefy. And I'm looking for that, especially in a mix. I want them to sound like that. I'll show you one of the riffs I'm talking about. Did you hear how heavy those strings sounded? There's just a lot of weight to them. There's girth there, and like thin, unresponsive amps, they flub out. There's just not a lot of hair on the notes. They're kind of dead sounding and dull. But on this amp, on the 5150, tons of life, tons of fullness, tons of aggression and attack and punchiness. Can you imagine that double tracked in a mix? I mean, that's just got to sound amazing. And just so you know, there are channels out there when they do, mixes and stuff. There's guitars underneath. I don't do that. There's no guitars in my mixes at all. None. It's all just me. So the only guitars you hear are just me. So there's no enhancements or anything like that. I'll prove it to you. So I'll do this one here. No guitar. So that's just bass and drums. That's it. So I just trying to be transparent because I see channels do that all the time and it pisses me off because it's so misleading. Like, this is what this amp sounds like. No, it's not. That's what that amp sounds like on top of 4 other tracks of another amp or even the same one. It's just not good representation. So I would always ask guys that are doing this kind of stuff live, let's hear the track without you playing on it just to see if there's a guitar there. If there is, I don't... Why would anybody want to do that? Makes no sense. All right, let me catch up to you guys. All right. See, Warm Chord Music. I bought his toaster. He still has the stage. Oh, yeah. Yes, you did. You bought it today, didn't you? Yeah, the toaster's gone. I forgot. I got to put a new prop up there. Maybe it'll be this. But this is too good for a prop. But if I'm not using it that day, I would love to have the Kraken up there. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Helix Cabana Boy says, out of all the amps I've seen you demo on this channel, I'd say the EVH is the worst so far. Okay. It's sounding fizzy and dull to my ear. Sorry, but I'm not a fan. Okay. I mean, that's why there's so many amps out there. That's why there's so many different, amps, because there's so many different ears. There's so many different people that like different things. So it is a gold standard, pretty much. But it's not for everybody, because if it was, then everybody would own one, right? So I appreciate your honesty. Yeah, no worries there. Let's see here. Yeah, Chicago Todd says, Jared sold his Kemper. I still have the stage. It's upstairs. And to be honest with you guys, I'm going to do a video about discussing, like, are tube amps dead, or, what's the best thing to get nowadays, blah, blah, blah. I'm definitely going to do that. I've been wanting to do that for months. Just putting all my thoughts together on it because I want it to be like a one-and-done episode. I might even do a live stream about it with some stats and stuff. But I think the Kemper and other digital platforms, if they're dialed in properly, they're great for, like, playing shows and stuff like that, especially like around in my area, the scene sucks. The scene is terrible around here. So if you're going to play around here and there's 30 people that show up, I'm not kidding you, man. Sorry, but I'm not going to grab $6,000 worth of gear and bring it to a show that 30 people are at and lug all that stuff around, possibly tear up my Tolex on my cabs and stuff like that, and it just isn't worth it to me. So if I'm going to play around here and it's just a regular local show kind of thing and the turnout's not all that great, I'll take my Kemper, plop it on the floor, go direct, and it works. It sounds great, it's convenient, and I'm not making thousands of dollars, so it's just not worth it to me to carry all that gear and have to lug it and bring it back. And of course there's always that, you imagine this, if I own this, a rare amp like this, the Kraken, the Super Kraken, that is. Take this to a gig where there's 20 people that show up to watch us play and watch all the other bands, and I get it home and there's like a big rip in the Tolex up here. How would I feel after that? Screw that, man. Not worth it. They get the Kemper, and honestly, the Kemper is amazing. It's going to sound great. It's just a great, convenient product to bring to gigs that, might not be worth the effort to bring thousands and thousands of dollars of gear to. And not even the money, but all that stuff. Like, you got to load it, unload it, hook it up, set it up, tear it down, put it back in the vehicle, get home at 3 a.m., lug it all back in the house. It's all heavy. I'm 50 years old. I want to drag all that crap around. It's just not worth it. So, anyways, let's see here. Aaron says maybe if you took good tone to shows, then more people would come out. Touche. You know, it's just the way it is, man. Um, you know, Tanner's music. You sold his cover. I think I just covered that, but yeah, this is behind, so sorry. Yeah, I sold my Kemper toaster. Yeah, Aaron Short, Warm Chord Music, or Aaron. Gosh, I get my names all mixed up. Warm Chord Music. Jay Croft has it, but I still have my stage upstairs. I do love my Kemper. I really do. It's for a convenient rig to take anywhere. It's the best one out there. It really is. All right, so let's go over some stats. I got some pictures and some stuff I want to show you guys I put together on the EVH. Let me just play that for you real quick so you guys can see some pictures and stuff. Here we go. There's like the inside of it, circuit board and all the other stuff. It's kind of cool. Kind of geek out. You can see all the tubes there. I don't know, I just thought that would be kind of neat to look at. It's a nice looking amp, and it's an absolute beast. Stands out in the mix really well. This one doesn't have a resonance knob on it, which I found was really interesting. No resonance knob on this guy. Has 3 channels, none of which are really that clean. I'll go through the 3 channels for you now. I'll go channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, and I'll just play a couple of stupid riffs on them so at least you can hear what they sound like. 1 second. So those are the 3 channels, and I left the guitar kind of, you know, going so you can hear like how the gain changes per channel. Channel 1 is kind of like a really, really light gain channel, as you heard. It doesn't really clean up. It's probably one of those volume roll-off kind of things, which I don't do. I'm not familiar with that kind of playing where you roll off your volume and do cleans. Not my thing. I want a dedicated clean channel. Nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of guys that do that, and I understand it. So if you're looking for an amplifier that's just a freaking behemoth, it's just a beast. It's just gnarly as hell. Tons of character, tons of texture, lots of hair on it, but it does clean up pretty good if you want the classic rock or that kind of stuff. Loves to be slammed with an overdrive, but you don't really play cleans, but you want something that's sort of cleanish. There you go. EVH, I mean, all day long. That'll be a great amp for you. Like I said, I've enjoyed playing it. It's amazing. The gain on channel 3 is just over noon. It's almost at 1 o'clock. And the reason why I do that is because I'm playing rhythm and leads, you know, and I need something that, I mean, obviously when I'm playing in the middle of a song, I can't reach over and turn the gain up, you know, and play a solo. So I want something that's rich and chewy enough for my rhythms, and it's not too much saturation in between the palm mutes and stuff, but I need that sustain and that aggression for my leads too, and I found that on this amp and on most amps, right around 1 o'clock is a good sweet spot for that. So now let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and roll the gain back, as channel 3 is what I'm on right now, the red channel, and it's just the gnarliest channel in this amp. I'm going to roll the gain back and go up in increments of, like, you know, I'm going to go at all the way down 9 o'clock, noon, 3 o'clock, and all the way up. So let's do that. Oh, I'll do it with the boost off first, and then I'll do it again with it on. Here we go. Okay, now I'll turn the pedal on. Okay, so when I had the pedal off, all the way up was too muddy. It was just really muddy and just overly saturated and unusable. But with the pedal on and the gain was all the way up, it cleared up some of that mud. But as you noticed, it didn't add any more gain because I don't have any gain on the pedal. It's all the way down. So again, for those who want to, oh, you don't need a boost pedal, I'm not. I'm shaping my tone. I'm not adding, gain to it. I'm just shaping it and making it more usable at every level, especially the levels that I prefer the gain at. And it just seems like, again, the sweet spot on this amp for playing rhythms and leads, if you're going to stay on one channel, is about 1 o'clock, and slam it with an overdrive, and it's very tight and responsive and percussive. And you get great ping on your harmonics, great pinch harmonics, and you get a lot of sustain. So that's pretty much, and I'm adding aggression, and I want that aggression because the aggression, it helps your notes and your riffs stick out in a mix. So all of that texture and aggression, it helps you, not only your guitar, but your playing and your style and your notes and all the little things that you do stand out in a mix more. So that's why I use it. See, people are asking what cab I'm using. I'm using a Krypton. What's going on, buddy? Thanks for asking. I'm not using an Impulse, actually. I'm going right through a Mesa 212 with vintage 30s, and it's mic'd with a Sennheiser E609. Nothing fancy. It's going right into a mixing board and out to you guys through my PreSonus audio box interface. Very simple. There's no EQ. It's all flat. I haven't done any compression or EQ. There's no fancy, outboard gear like, mic pre's or anything like that that's going through. It's all basic stuff. And it sounds, in my opinion, it sounds incredible. I'm listening to everything through these KZAS10 in-ear monitors. There's 5 drivers in each one, and they sound really good. I posted a link below. So, like, for you guys who are watching this and you want to hear exactly what I'm hearing, they're like $60-some, and you can hook them right into your phone or your iPad or whatever and listen through those, and you'll hear exactly what I'm hearing. And there's no EQ on these either. They're flat, so I don't have anything spiced up on these at all. That way, like when I say, oh, this sounds like this or that, you can concur or disagree or whatever you want, because you'll be on the same page because you're listening to exactly the same thing that I am. So it's almost like you're in the same room with me, So if you want to get a pair of those and join in that regard, feel free to do so. Make sure you get the foam tips because they'll stay in your ears better and create a really good seal and give you more bass. Very affordable in-ears. They're great for anything. Phone calls. If you get the ones with the mic on them, use them in your band. Use them for listening to music, whatever. They work really well. Let's see. Number 3, all I can say is yuck. So you don't like Channel 3, huh, Dave? I think it sounds pretty damn good, but I mean, we're all different. You might have thought it was too much gain or something. It all depends. Like I have it set up right now at 1 o'clock, which suits me pretty good for solos and rhythms. So let's see here. Jacob Allen, just the tip. I have those. They are excellent. Aaron Short says, yeah, aren't they? These are great in-ears. They really are. Again, I can't stress it enough. I would love if we all had the same in-ears while we were watching it, because I know some of you guys are probably watching on your TV and stereo system. You can't beat that. But a lot of times we're stuck on our phones. We're, commuting or whatever, and we want to hear everything really well. We're listening through our phone speaker. Nothing sounds good on a phone speaker. Everything sounds the same, and it all sounds like crap. So you get a pair of these, and everything's going to sound absolutely amazing. I use these when I play on stage, and they're great. It sounds too good to be true, like $60 or whatever. I think it was $69 or something. Like, how can they be good? I've had these for a year and a half, and they sound absolutely incredible. I bought a backup pair, and I haven't even cracked the seal on the box yet because these have been so reliable. Let's see. Does it have reverb built in? No. Most metal amps won't, because most metal guys don't use reverb. We'll use delay on our solos, but reverb's kind of a thing where I don't use it. I don't want to speak for all of us, but I mean most of us will not use reverb. It's not something you hear in the metal world. Maybe on a clean channel, but most people use helixes or axe effects or whatever for that, or pedals. So and it's always better than the amp's reverb, so why not just use that? Let's see. Warm Chord says the Warehouse Veteran 30 is an awesome speaker for heavy music. Oh, probably. I want to try one of those. In fact, I got to try your cab one of these days. Jacob Allen says he uses them. They actually got me on them a while back, and they are amazing. You talking about the in-ears, Jacob? That would be cool. I think that's what you're talking about. They are amazing. All right, so no, it is a great idea, isn't it, Aaron? Like if everybody's wearing these, we're all on the same page, and you can literally hear exactly what I'm hearing, and there's no difference because again, there's no EQ. So get a pair because you'll use them for other things too. And music, oh my God, you listen to music through these, freaking killer. And my mixes, like when I'm playing the mix that I'm playing along with the guitar, it just sounds incredible. I enjoy it. Like it doesn't bother me that I'm using in-ears right now, and I trust these. I can dial in my tone on these and know it'll be good. I'm very used to what these sound like, and they're killer. They're pretty flat too, So, let's see. Everyone order a pair, he says. Yeah, do it. They're great. Click on that link and get a pair. They're worth every penny. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. So we went over some of the features on this guy. We went over the 3 different channels. It does not have a resonance knob, which it's not a deal breaker, but it would be nice if it did because it would add a little more size, especially when you're using smaller cabs like I am. Even though this cab's very punchy, but it would be nice if it had a little more presence and resonance. I'm not missing it big time. I'm not thinking, oh man, it just sounds so small. It sounds huge, but hey, it never hurts to have a little bit of resonance, especially for guys who want to cut down on the bass, and maybe you're you're on stage and the mixing engineer is like, you're kind of disappearing. I need a lower bass or whatever, and you can cut your bass down but add resonance to give you some size, or vice versa, or whatever. You can lower your bass because you got more resonance. I mean, there's so many things you could do with a resonance knob, and I'll get into how important that is in a little bit when we switch to the Kraken. And it does have the presence. The presence is at dead nut center. I didn't really do much with that. And the mid is dead nut center. I cut it just a hair. And the low is right up the middle. And the high is just over the center. So that's pretty much it. Real simple. Now, I didn't do a lot of dialing in because, a great amp, you don't need to do a lot. It should sound great at noon, and then you fine tune it from there and you're done. So maybe I'll do one more song with this. I haven't played this one in a while. I just brushed up on it tonight. I'm a little nervous about playing it because I feel like I'm going to screw it up. But you know what? what the hell? Let me pull this song up here, and then I'll take a break for a second, and we'll switch amps, and then we'll go on to the next thing. All right, wish me luck. This might be a train wreck. Here we go. Hey, not too bad. Not too bad at all. All right, so before I switch from this amp to the Kraken, what would you guys like? Excuse me. What would you like me to do with this so we can kind of go over the different, features of this? I'll do whatever you want. Aaron Short says, "What effects is Helix providing exactly? Are we not basically just hearing the amp?" You are hearing just the amp as far as the tone and all that stuff goes. Effects wise, all you're hearing is a little bit of delay, and I have the precision drive in front of it pushing it. That's it. On one of the things, I got a little bit of chorus and delay on it. So like I got two rhythm tones. I got a dry one that's slightly wet with a little bit of delay and chorus on it, and then I got my lead tone, which is just delay. That's it. So I'll go through those real quick for you. The first one you're going to hear is my dry tone. Then you're going to hear the wet one that I still use for rhythms with some chorus and delay. And then you're going to hear my lead tone. 1 second. So that's pretty much it. You know, that's all the Helix is doing tonight is just giving me effects. So there's no Helix cabs or Helix amps or anything like that. It's all amp with effects. So just pretend like I'm just using an amp with a couple of stomp boxes, because that's what the Helix is doing tonight. And I will say the Helix does that really well. The Helix does the 4-cable method, switching, controlling, and effects thing very, very well. I would highly recommend it for anybody. If you're going to use it as an all-in-one unit, yeah, it's, I mean, the amp sims in it are decent. If your amp blows up on stage and you need it because you're using a 4-cable method and you got to dial in an amp real quick on it, yeah, it'll get you through the show and it'll sound fine. But you'll always you always prefer your real amp over it. And even the guys at Line 6 will tell you that. They even said, we didn't make it to replace your equipment. We made it to work with your equipment. And work with your equipment, the Helix does, I think, in my opinion, at least as good as, if not better than anybody else. So it's a great product for that. It honestly is. All right, so let me see if there's any other requests, questions, whatever, and then we'll get on to the Kraken, because I know you guys have been waiting. So Aaron says, that's amazing. So basically you're just hearing the amp. Yes, you're just hearing the amp. That's it. All you need is a great guitar and amp and talent. Yeah, well, we got a great amp and guitar. I got a little bit of talent. So hopefully that'll be enough for tonight. All right, so, okay. Well, I don't see anybody requesting that I do anything else. Bruce Clark says, I like that a lot. Good song. Oh, thanks, buddy. Yeah, thank you very much. We wrote that a couple years ago. It's called The Quest. It's kind of a big, epic song. It's like 10 minutes. So I just kind of, with these songs, the reason why I'm doing this is I take some of our songs, and you'll hear click tracks on them sometimes because I use them to practice too. So there'll be clicks introducing parts, and that's what we use live. But I'll take a 10-minute song and I'll kind of condense it down for episodes like this and kind of piece it together almost like a remix or something like that. So you can hear these amps with vocals, keyboards, drums, bass, you know what I mean? Like a full mix. So it's not just, instrumental. It's nice to hear it with vocals too, to see how well it sits with vocals. Is it too interruptive? Is there enough character for you to hear like what I'm doing? Even with the vocals on top. So I kind of do the remixes of our songs for that. I condense them down. But yeah, that's a 10-minute song. But I appreciate the kind words. I'm glad you like it. Darth Vapor says, I want a train wreck amp. I want to play through one. It sounds like a good amp. Aaron says, great vocals. That is Carrie. That is my co-host, who is usually here. She's here sometimes on Wednesdays, but she's always here on Sunday nights. And she's a fantastic singer. I'm lucky to have her in my band, in my life, on my channel. She's a great person, and I'm so glad that she's my singer. I'm very proud of that. Let's see. Rod Esp, I have the Kraken 50 watt connected into a Victory 212 with WGS Recto 30. Sounds amazing. Yeah, I'm sure it does. This thing's great. It really is. I was very surprised, and I want to get into that in a minute here. Get cracking on the Kraken, they said. Get cracking. All right. Killer song. Seven Stone Riot. Hey, what's up, buddy? Thank you. I'm glad you like the song. We played a show with Seven Stone, and they're a great band. You should check out Seven Stone Riot. I think they're from Alabama, if I'm not mistaken. Let me know. The guitar player in that band, I'm pretty sure it's you. Great guy, great people, amazing band. So, the Law just finished practice. What's going on, Jamie? Good to see you, man. Um, Carrie killed it, he says. Thank you. Who's singing that song? Bruce Clark said. Oh, okay, so you caught up to me. Yeah, sorry, there's a delay here. It's like 30 seconds. So, yeah, Carrie is the singer, and you'll see her here on Sunday nights. And you know what you should do? Tune in Sunday night at 7 and ask her to sing something for you. You know, a cappella. she'll do it. Just put her on the spot. And I won't even warn her. I'll make her do it. Just make sure she's got a couple sips of whiskey in her first. Birmingham, Alabama. That's right. Yeah, I knew it. All right, so hang on 1 second, guys. A little shot of courage there. Let me put this guy in standby mode first, and we will switch these out. Bear with me a second. One of these days when my channel gets super successful, I'll have people helping me with this stuff. Wouldn't that be nice? Turn my little light here. Turn this down. Alright. I'll tell you, 4-cable method is the way to do things. And I label all my cables, so it makes it really easy. Okay, power. Flip that over, and the speaker. 8 ohm. Okay, speakers in. So return, power, and input. All right, flip this bad boy on. Okay. All right, guys, I'll be right back in a second. We'll get started on the Kraken.
Hi, this is Carrie from Tone Wars. We're going to go live in just a few minutes, but before we do, I just wanted to take a few seconds to say a few things. Jared and I really appreciate when you guys tune in and interact with us when we go live. We work very hard to make sure that our live streams and our produced videos are educational and entertaining for everyone. Believe it or not, there's a lot of work that goes into our live streams and our produced videos. So if you like what you're experiencing here, here's a couple ways you can help us out. The Super Chat feature is turned on, and any amount will be appreciated. Jared is also available for private consultation for a nominal fee. You can contact Jared through 2 of the links below. One is through our Tone Wars Facebook page, and the other is through email. So thank you so much for your support. The live stream's about ready to start, so go pour yourself your favorite glass of whiskey or other libation, and we'll be right with you. Cheers!
Welcome to Tone Wars. All right. Round 2. All right, I got some stats for you to look at on the Kraken. Let's go ahead and take a look at those. Very beautiful amp, very classy. Sorry about some of these pictures. I thought they were high res, but they weren't. But it was too late. But look at how classy this amp is. It looks like a piece of furniture, and it looks like it's so refined. But man, this thing is ridiculous. So it's a 2.5 channel, I would call it. I don't know if that's the official way, but I'll show you all that in a minute. Lots of cool switches. You'll see those in a second. You can. There's the inside. Thought that was kind of a cool picture. Dave Rebell and I were going over these last night. He sent me some cool pictures. Thank you, Dave. Bias it. All right, right there you can see like the preamp focus which is its built-in boost, which we'll go over. And yeah, there's a lot of great features on this amp. It's very feature rich. Some people don't like a lot of features. They don't like the switches because it's just too much for them. I do. I love switches because to me that's a rabbit hole I'll go down, because everything that you're switching is real. So there's no digital weirdness going on there. Like, does that sound real or whatever? It's all real stuff. So there's real circuits doing real stuff, and boy, do they make a difference. All right, so I know you're waiting. So let me play a couple riffs on this, and we'll talk about it in a minute here. Ridiculous. And now here's the thing with this amp. It's more focused. It's a little more focused. It doesn't have as much hair and I don't know what to call it, like the electricity that around all the notes. It's a little more focused. It has a little bit of like that, and I guess I compare it a little bit to the Petrucci Mark II C Plus amp. It's got a little bit of that kind of feel, that really nice tight um, um, but it's got a little bit of give to it, and there's not a lot of hair around the notes. It's a slightly rounder amp, than the EVH. There's still tons of character and texture in it, but it's just a little more refined and focused. So, but man, this thing, especially on the single notes, when you play those, you grab one and give it some vibrato that just has a lot of great character to it, and just the right amount of aggression. I don't really think that there's anything that anybody would say is off-putting about this amp at all. Like, some of the guys were like, "Oh, the EVH is a little much." No, nothing against the EVH. This thing obviously is a gold standard for a reason. It's a killer amp. But something like this is a little more refined. It still has tons of rage, tons of aggression, but it doesn't have as much hair. It feels great. Like, when you're in the room with this and you're playing, there's a lot of great interaction with the pick and the string. I mean, you're really getting a lot of diggy kind of chewiness. So the EVH is more of a drier, like crumbly breakup on the top end, and this one is more chewy. And I like chewy stuff. Chewy is my jam when it comes to amps. I like that chewiness with just a little bit of give. I don't like things to be too cold, but this is like the perfect balance of aggression, rage, chewiness, refinement, focus, but still having a big sound. There's just a lot of great things I like about this amp. So let's go over a couple of the features. Let me turn this fan off here. Have another shot of courage, and then we'll go over some mixes. Okay, so right now I have the overdrive on. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off, and I'll play a couple riffs and turn it back on, and you'll hear the difference, but this thing's pretty damn tight without it. So 1 second. Okay, still sounds great without it, but the overdrive tightened up the bottom end a little bit and added that little bit of rage on the top end that I like. Especially in a mix, it really stands out. This is dialed in again for it to be both a rhythm and lead channel for me, because I do both. And the gain is at, where am I? Gain is at 1 o'clock. like I said, that's kind of my sweet spot on a lot of amps. It varies. Some amps I'm at 9 o'clock. It just depends. So let's hear it with the it's called the preamp focus, which is a circuit that just tightens it up. And I'm telling you, about 60% of the people that would play this amp would not need an overdrive pedal because of this switch right here. It really does do a great job. 1 second. Let me play without it, and then I'll play with it. Okay, so it's off right now, then I'll switch it on. I'll tell you, let me turn it off. You can hear the rage. I'd say that would work for most guys. I really do. I think it doesn't change the tone hardly at all. It doesn't give me the aggression I like on the top end as much as I like on my pedal, but it does tighten up the low end pretty much the way I would like it to. So I prefer the pedal, but here's the thing. Let's say I got to a gig and I forgot my pedal. Should probably never happen, but let's say I did. I wouldn't be mad. I would be like, well, thank God for that switch, because I'll get through the night no problem. And maybe if I play it enough, and at the end of the night, I might be like, you know what? Because you know how we acclimate to things? I might acclimate to it by the third song and be like, I don't know if I want my pedal anymore. I'm not saying that would or wouldn't happen, but it's possible, you know? So that's cool. Here's another feature that I thought is really cool. This doesn't have a resonance knob. It has a resonance button. So I forget what they call it, but it's a button that actually adds like a ton of low end to this amp. Tons of it. And I had to back the bass off when I turned it on. I had the bass in the middle. So I'll put it back to the middle just to show you what this does. So I'm going to have it off, and then I'm going to hit a chord, and I'm going to turn it on. And then you're going to hear, hopefully through the microphone, what this does. Let me turn it off. I think that's the right switch. It's hard to see back there. 1 second. I can see the meter. I got a meter here. When I turn it on, I can see the meter bouncing up higher. And that's just, yeah, and that's with the bass at pretty moderate setting right in the middle. It just sounds incredible. I mean, it adds a ton of girth. And, you know, the thing is the mic's only going to pick up so much for you guys, but I'm telling you, in the room, if I take my in-ears off and you're standing in the room with me, you can feel the surge of low end coming out of that thing. It sounds incredible. So I thought that was a really cool feature. I like the feature of that, as well as the built-in, you know, what's it called, the power amp focus. So I like that. And I also like I like how it looks. It looks classy as hell. It's a really classy looking amp. It looks more refined than it sounds, if that makes sense. I mean, this is a beast, and it has a lot of gain. Speaking of which, I'm going to turn the pedal off, so no overdrive, no boost on the amp, and I'm going to turn the gain all the way down, and we'll go 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, all the way up, and then I'll turn the pedal on and do the same thing, and then I'll do it again with the built-in boost. Okay, here we go. So plenty of gain on tap. There's no way you'll ever not have enough gain on this. And it's tight. Like I said, it's a pretty tight amp. Again, because it's a pretty tight amp, I have the precision drive adjusted differently than I usually do for most amplifiers, because a lot of amps that I have down here are a little flubby. These two guys were so tight that I didn't need to tighten it up so much, so I took the attack knob and dropped it down one notch. So it's only one notch up on these. That way I kept that fullness. Otherwise they sound choked, and I don't like that sound. And that way they retain all of their fullness. And yeah, they sound really good like that. So great amp. I liked it right away. As soon as I fired it up and I ran the 4-cable method through it with the helix and my pedals and stuff, I just did the old, down the low B and hit a big open D chord with an A on top, and I was just like, oh my god. I mean, everything at noon, this thing just sounded incredible. So here's the other thing I want to do. I want to show you the 2.5 channel thing I was talking about. So we heard the rage that's in this channel, in the second channel. So let's go ahead and switch over to the clean channel, all right? And then what we're going to do is hear how that sounds clean, because there's a switch right here that says clean or crunch. So I'm going to switch it up to clean, okay? And then switch to that channel. And then we're going to see how that sounds. And then I'll switch the crunch on, and you can hear the really nice little AC/DC crunch thing that it's got going on. All right, 1 second. So yeah, if you want to do some tasty, stuff on that channel, you can do that as well. The thing is it's all MIDI switchable. This comes with 2-foot switches, but you can also program all the MIDI commands to control every single feature on this amp. All the switches, everything. So what you do is you leave them in the middle, which they call the null setting, and then MIDI will control it from there. So you just leave them in the middle section, and you can control everything from the Helix or your other digital platform, You could turn all this stuff on or off, the boost, the crunch, you know, all the settings, everything, which I think is really cool. Channel switching, everything. So they really thought of everything with this amp, and that's something that I really like. I love companies and amp builders who build amps, even though they're like an old school kind of thing nowadays, but they put the newer technology in it so you can pair it with your touring gear or your recording gear or whatever very easily without having to pull the hair out of your head and figure it out and call NASA. I mean, I love that fact a lot, you know, and that's a big winner for me. That's something that makes me not be able to say no to purchasing something, because will this dock with everything that I already own? Yes. Well, why wouldn't I buy it? You know, I mean, honestly, it's a win. It sounds fantastic. It has, especially for recording purposes, you have all kinds of cool tones and different things that you can get out of this amplifier, whether it's live or in the studio. And it's all switchable via MIDI, which I'm a big fan of, as you guys know. And it's just all the modern comforts are associated with this thing, and the build quality, everything. This is the 18th one that they built. The serial number proves it, and the gentleman that let me borrow it for the show, he showed all that stuff to me. This is a special, special, special amplifier. So if you have a chance to get one of these, I highly suggest that you do, because it's something that it's a great conversation piece, and I guarantee you that every guitar player that comes over to your house is going to want to plug into this. Guaranteed. They're going to say, "Oh, you got a Kraken?" Like, yeah, I got it. It's actually a Super Kraken. You got to be kidding me. I got to plug into that. And it's such a pleasure to play through this amplifier. Again, it's got its own thing going on. There's hints of all kinds of other amplifiers that I have had down here, in here. But it's like an amalgamation of all the stuff I love about all the amplifiers that I've had down here. But it's got its own spin on it. It's got the MIDI controlling. It's got the built-in boost. Like some of the amps I've played with their own built-in boost, the boost is useless. It doesn't work for me at all. It's almost like a gimmick. The built-in boost in here is great. It really is. Again, I prefer my pedal, but it's not that. It's a taste thing. I guarantee you that 60 to 70% of you guys out there watching right now would plug into this and go, "I'm good. I don't need an extra boost. That's fine for me." You know, I'm an extremist, so I like everything extreme. And a lot of you guys would find that clean channel, which is gain 1, would work really well for you for a good crunch channel, and a clean channel. And I believe because this has the null setting, you can switch between the clean and the crunch on that channel via MIDI, which I think is absolutely fantastic. So you're not reaching over for the switch. If you have a Helix or XFX or whatever, it'll switch that for you, and you could program it, which I think is amazing. So that would almost make it a 3-channel amp if you use it with the MIDI processor, because again, I could switch through the clean, the crunch, and the rage channel with MIDI, and you can't go wrong. You really can't. Really quick, let me show you how crunchy the crunch channel gets, and then I'll switch to the lead channel, and you can hear the gain just grow right there. So I'll go ahead and do that. Hang on one second. That is so cool. That is just really ridiculous. So you do get a good amount of gain for you guys that like to play like the classic rock, or like the even just straightforward kind of chunky rock tones. It'll do it. And then if you want to use channel 2 for your leads, I mean, you heard the gain difference. I mean, it's just freaking crazy. So again, very versatile amp, extremely versatile. It does everything well. I found the clean channel to be very unique. It had a kind of a smokiness about it. Very, very unique, very pleasant. It had a lot of good chime to it, but there was like this airy smokiness to it that I really enjoyed as well. And I'm using the coil tap in the middle section on here, so I'm using like a coil tap pickup kind of thing. And I just find that it chimes really nice. Let's hear, before I do the mixes, let's hear the clean channel without any effects on it. Okay, so let me go over to the clean channel. And what's going on here? Clean. Oh, gain one. Clean. All right, so let me go over to this. I'm going to turn off all the effects. And all you're going to hear is just that. So I turned off the delay and the chorus. Turn off the mic. Very nice. Put a little effects on it, you're off to the races. I didn't even put a compressor on it, which I usually do, but it just felt nice and round and chimey. And I might put a compressor on it, I might not, but there was nothing in it, especially wearing in-ears. If you got those, some clean channels, you hit the notes and they sting your ears. There was really nothing about this that did that. So I love amps, companies that make amps and they don't treat the clean channel like an afterthought. There was a lot of thought put into this channel because, again, it doubles as a nice crunch channel that you can use for some groovy leads and solos and even some good crunch riffs and stuff. And it cleans right up so nice with a flick of a switch or a tap of a button on your MIDI device. And again, if you want rage, fire it up on on channel 2, which is called gain 2, and you got tons of rage there, more gain than you could ever need, and it tightens up well either with its own internal circuit that you can use or an external pedal. And again, you have the button on the back that turns on all the resonance, and it just oozes out of that cabinet. It just fills the room so nicely, and it's just great. So if you're in a bigger room and you want that big sound and your cabinet's lifted up or whatever, it'll give it to you. So very, very nice. Okay, so let me read a couple comments and then we'll do a couple mixes. Seven Stone Riot, thanks for the super chat. Very, very much appreciate that. Very much. Thank you so much. Okay. Matt Fig, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Yeah, the Victory is angry. It's an angry, gnarly freaking amp. It's like you took it to the pub and gave it too much to drink. And yeah, it's gnarly. Let's see, Aaron Short, can it country? I think you could do country with this easily. Absolutely. That channel 1, it's got that kind of really nice, easy kind of breakup. I bet you could do country with this. Absolutely. Let's see here. British all the way, Bruce Clark says. Yes. Chicago Todd says, if you play country music on it, it automatically self-destructs. Yeah, I don't want to try that theory because I got to bring this back, possibly, to the owner. Yeah, it's fat, isn't it? Seven Stone Riot says it's fat. It's very, very fat sounding. Hey, Carrie. Carrie's in here. Let's see here. I guess there are ways around not having a resonance knob, though. Yes, there are. You can get the depth finder pedal, right, Jamie? I think that's a good way around it. All right. Yep, I just saw that depth finder would help. Let's see. Mark Bauer says EVH sounds fatter. How do they compare in price? They're pretty close actually. This is about $2,000, and the EVH is just over. I think it's like 2,200 if I remember correctly. So they're pretty comparable in price. Um, the EVH has a hairier sound, so it has that. It might have a little bigger presence as far as that hairiness goes. This is a little more focused, almost like a Mark, but it still has its own voicing. But man, there's just a lot of special things about this amplifier. And again, just to have something like this, because and I don't, please EVH fans, don't take this the wrong way, but you can get an EVH anywhere, anytime. You know, Craigslist, Reverb, any store, and they're great amps. Don't get me wrong. Gold standard, awesome amps. How often do you get a chance to even see one of these, let alone play through it? And it's not just like, oh, it's a unicorn amp that is okay sounding, so that it's more nostalgic than anything else. This thing really does sound good, and I'm going to prove it to you in 3 mixes in a minute. It's amazing. So if I had my choice between the two, it would be tough because I really like both of these. So it just depends on what you're looking for. You know, if you're looking for the features that I described in the EVH, then go for that. If you're looking for the rarity and like the nostalgic kind of thing, but also the features and the awesome tone and versatility in this, I would go with this. Because between these two guys, you have a dedicated clean channel. This guy here, the EVH, not so much on this model at least. I know EVH makes a clean channel, but on this particular model, at least I couldn't get it to clean up. Maybe I'm an idiot. I don't know. But you can roll your volume back and do it that way. But as I said earlier, I don't play like that. That's just nuts. That's like an old school thing. No disrespect, but I just don't play like that. I want a dedicated clean channel, which this guy has, the Victory. Let's see here. Astronaut of Bohemia. What's going on, man? He says, hey, man. Hey, if one is looking for best chug amp of all time, name that number one amp and only amp that, and don't forget any of you know about Rev, KSR, EVH, Driftwood, Victory, Laney, PV, Marshall, PRS, Diesel, H&K, Bogner, etc. Oh, God. I don't know if I could name just one. That MT-15 is amazing, especially for the price. That thing's got a great chuggy kind ofness to it. I'll tell you what, out of the ones that you named, I'll give you some. The Rev, obviously, that's no-brainer. KSR, amazing. EVH, I haven't played a Driftwood, so I can't attest to that, but I've heard good things. This thing chugs like a college kid at a freaking frat party, so no problem there. I haven't played a Laney in a while, but last time I did, I wasn't real happy with the Laney. A PV, yeah, like if you play a 6505 or, you know, anything like that, yeah, it chugs really well. I'm not a big fan of Marshall. No offense to Marshall or people that own them. It's just not my bag. PRS, absolutely. Diesel, yes. Bogner's, you know, it's been a while since I played a Bogner. I'd have to refresh my memory on that. But yeah, there's a lot of good options in there. They all probably do it really well. And the thing is, a good overdrive pedal covers a multitude of sins. If you got an amp that's kind of flubby and doesn't chug well, that pedal is it. You know, for the purists out there, like, oh, I don't need a pedal. I'll guarantee you, if I put a pedal under your foot and you turn it on, or I turn it on and you play a while with it and then I turn it off, you're going to be like, what'd you do? I turned the pedal off that you said you didn't need. That's what I did. You like that? They'll be like, turn it back on, but don't tell anybody. That's what'll happen. PRS, George says, PRS MT-15 for life. It's a great amp. It really is. I got no problem. Can it yeet? Yes. Yes, it yeets all day, Jamie. This thing is very yeety. In fact, it has a yeet button in the back, but if I push that, it'll shut my live stream down, and I just can't afford that right now. But come over tomorrow, and you can push the yeet button, and it'll shut down the whole power grid in my neighborhood for a week. All right. Best metal overdrive pedal. Precision Drive by Horizon Devices. That's the best one. It's the most versatile. Every amp I've brought in this house, I push with this pedal, and it pushes the hell out of it. I might have to make some adjustments to it, but that's what makes it so versatile. It pushes the amps very well. I got no problems with it. Very good pedal. John Claudio Rev G3, yeah, oh yeah, that's a great freaking amp. So yeah, I would say if you got an amp that doesn't, have a lot of chugginess, push it with an overdrive. Again, overdrives are not for adding gain; they're for making the amp respond better. I had a Mesa dual rec, and the thing was flubby, tubby, dead, flat, did not respond to the way I played at all. But I loved the tone, and it was a great amp. I pushed it with an overdrive pedal, and all of a sudden I was like, wow, now I can shred, I can do all this stuff on it, and it sounds amazing. My notes don't melt together when I'm playing fast. You can hear the separation. The harmonics dance right off the strings. They ping very well, where before they didn't. And I used to think, well, maybe it's me. It's not. I mean, either you hit a harmonic or you don't. And if it doesn't ping and it doesn't ring out very well, it's not your fault. It's the amp. Get an overdrive pedal, and it solves all the problems. So, I can't say it enough. Get one. Bruce Clark says, you have to try the new EVH 5153 Stealth 50 watt head, NAMM 2020. Yes! And I talked to Motor City, and when they get them in, that thing will be parked right here, and I'll go live with it just like I'm doing right now, and we'll go through it feature by feature, song by song, whatever, and we'll do a lot of cool stuff with that. So, yeah, again, guys, I don't have an uncle in the furniture business. I don't have, my dad doesn't own an overdrive pedal company. I'm just saying, go get an overdrive pedal, I can't say it enough. It solves all your problems. Gain all the way down, volume all the way up, tone in the middle. Great place to start, and you'll probably pretty much stay there, and your amp will sound amazing. All right, so let's do some mixes with this guy. Tell me to shut the hell up, and I am going to do the standards. All right, let's go through the standards. Ben Burnett, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate it very much. Thank you. Made my night, man. Both of you guys give me the super chats. You and Seven Stone. Reed, thank you. All right, here we go with a mix. Let me make sure I'm on the right channel, and we'll go. Wow, that thing sang like a canary. It just did. It just sounded great. The lead notes were very smooth, glassy, and juicy, and just, oh my God, the sustain, all of it. Very, very nice. I love how it felt. It felt really good. Like the pick was just punishing those strings, and I didn't feel like I had to beat the strings to death to get that either. I was hitting them like I normally do. I'm not a hard player. I play like medium, and man, it just felt great. I mean, it sustained very well. Did you hear those harmonics just ping and just? I mean, let me hit those again real quick. That's why you use an overdrive. When you blend it with a killer amp like that, the harmonics just sing, and they got that nice top end to them, and they ring out, and they last forever. Yeah, it just just works, man. There's some really good chewiness with it. And that's the thing, like, I like an amp that is fun to play. I'm not battling with it. Like, some guys I talk to, they're like, I like an amp that makes me work. Oh, good for you. I mean, if that's what you like, great. I like an amp that works for me. So when I'm doing stuff, it's given me a reward for what I do. I'm not saying I want an amp that's very forgiving. No, I just want an amp that rewards me for the effort that I put in. But when you're playing fast, you can't play hard. You got to play either hard or fast. Now, there's a couple of weirdos that are walking the earth right now that can do both. Whatever. God bless you guys. But we're us mortals. We can't do that. At least I can't. I have to play lighter when I play fast. And I don't. I like an amp like this one here that. And truthfully, both of these guys kind of gave me that. Like, when I'm playing fast, I felt the notes articulate properly, and the tonality of the notes was there, and it felt great. I felt very supported. I do prefer the chewiness on this guy a little more, but again, everybody's different. I bet you if all of you came over here tonight, half of you would prefer the EVH, and the other half would prefer the Kraken. And it's just the way it is. And I totally respect that. It's the way it is. These are both winners. I mean, again, the EVH is here for a reason. It's a gold standard amp, so that speaks volumes for this amp, right there. So it's just a matter of what are you looking for. You want something a little chewier that has a dedicated clean channel, and it has that very distinct, unique kind of focused, tight tone. That's your guy. All day long, and you can walk into a room anywhere and say that you have a Kraken, and most people are going to be like, you have a what? Oh my God. It's just such a cool thing to say that you have. They're just such great amplifiers. And I heard all the hype about it, and honestly, it's all real. The hype is real. I'm not let down. I was worried that I would be. I was worried that I was going to play through it and go, I can't believe people talk about this thing. And I was worried, like, because truth be told, I was late to post pictures of this on my community section on my channel, because I was like, I have to, what if I post pictures of it as soon as I get home because I'm excited about it, and I play it and I hate it? Then I got to be like, yeah, sorry guys, I won't be doing the Kraken that night, because that's not what my channel's all about, is me ragging on stuff. So I had to play through it first, because I was literally doubtful whether or not I would like this amplifier, and no doubts anymore. I love this amplifier. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I love the EVH as well. I think that, again, it was grateful to have Motor City let me have this tonight, so that I can compare this to a gold standard benchmark, and I mean that with the greatest respect to this amplifier. It stood up to it, in my opinion. I think that it has its own thing going on. I'm not saying it's better or worse or whatever, and I'm not trying to be PC about it. I'm just saying that here's a gold standard amplifier, and here's something very unique, and I think that it held its own tonight. And I think, again, half of you would want either one of these. So let me take a sip of water here and catch up with the comments and see what's what here, and see if there's anything you guys want me to do with this. Uh, let's see here. Astronaut of Bohemia, thank you so much for the super chat. Very much appreciate that. Jeremy Armstrong, wow, thank you so much, brother. The guys, seriously, man, I appreciate this more than I could say. You know, these live streams are a lot of work. They're a lot of fun, but they're a lot of work too. And I honestly enjoy hanging out with you guys, and I'm honored that you're here. I really am, and I'll never forget that. And I appreciate you guys being here so much and for all the support. Seriously, thank you guys. God bless you guys. Um, let's see here. Yes, please like and subscribe too. I appreciate that. I'm trying to get this channel up to a point where, you know, we can blow up, and that's my goal, is to do these every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock and just have something new for you guys. It won't always be amps. Sometimes it'll be digital stuff. Sometimes it'll be me doing like a rig where we just build a fly rig from scratch and see how good we can make it sound. Maybe I can do a budget rig and figure out a way to make it sound amazing. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff I can do. So I definitely want to do that. Bruce Clark said it's good in the mix for sure. Yeah, it does. This thing sounds great in the mix. And like the reactions that you're seeing me do, I mean, they're real. Like when I'm getting into it and I'm feeling like that great volley with an amplifier, it's real. It moves me, and I feel great. I just want to come out of my chair and just start kicking stuff. You know, it's like this. They both did it really well, but there's just, I don't know. There's something very special about this guy. You know, and again, I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it is. Once the hype was great, but you know how hype is. This lives up to the hype. It does. It's killer. You know. Seven Stone Riot Reed. He says so much. Balls! Good grief, man. Perfect tracking amp. Killer riffs. Thank you. Thank you so much, Reed. Yeah, it really does track well. It's very articulate, but there's a little bit of forgiveness there. There's a chewiness that I can't... It's like, it's hard to describe, but it just really... it rewards you for your efforts, you know? It really does. And it's fun to play leads on. Again, like, I'm at 1 o'clock on the gain, and playing leads at that setting, I felt very confident because I don't know, some of you guys, you know, when you're playing solos, the last thing you want to feel is insecure, right? You don't want to feel like, it's like you're out on a tightrope and you hear the rope starting to break and you're like, oh God. And next thing you know, you're just gripping and grinning and wanting to get through it. With this amplifier at the settings that I got it on, I felt very supported, very confident. I almost felt like I was better than I actually am. And that's a great feeling to have when you're playing an amplifier. Again, some guys like to work their amps. I like to work an amp too, but I don't want to have to, you know, it's kind of like a lawnmower, right? You know, the ones that you have to push with everything you got, but then there's the ones where you pull that handle and it kind of goes with you. And it just makes it easier. And it cuts the grass even better because you're not shoving it so hard. So that's kind of what this amp does. It's kind of like it got that easy handle on it where you're like, oh, now we're just walking. I'm not shoving you everywhere. This is great. And that's kind of what's happening here. It's amazing. You know, it really is. Let's see here. Aaron Short, great, ordering now. Do it. Get one, man. And you're English, man. How dare you not have one of these? You should have one. Look at this. It's still got the tag on it. Made in England. Check that out, you know. And the heat that's coming off of this thing right now, I might cook a steak later. Yeah, it's great. I know I'm sounding kind of repetitive here, but holy crap, is this thing amazing. Let's see, or just use Helix, Aaron says. It has 50 amps, yeah. The Helix is great for controlling and switching, and I'm going to program it to switch this, and I'm sure it's very easy. And the effects tonight you heard with the Helix, but man, you can't beat these things. Carrie says, I'm going to need to hear Kraken versus Rev. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll do that, Jay. We'll do that. Jay's got to bring the Rev over here. John Patrick Lucas says, great playing and attitude. Thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate that. Does the new forthcoming Engel Fireball 25 entice you? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. We covered that on our last week's show when we talked about Best at NAMM, and that was one of the ones that I want to try because that one with all the effects and stuff on it, I think, or is that the Iron Ball? I'll get all the Engel balls mixed up here, but that's the one with the effects on it. If that's the one I'm thinking of, and yeah, I want to try that so bad, and if I can get my hands on one, I will have it on the channel. So for sure. He said, "I'm looking forward to that mini beast. Thank you." Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. I think Engel makes great stuff. So yeah, I would definitely get that on here. So yeah, we got 40 people here. I'll tell you what. Do you guys want me to play any of those mixes again? First one, second one, or third one, or do you want me to play the other song with Carrie's vocals on it? Let me know what you want me to do, and I'll do it. And then we can go over other features or whatever you want on here. I'm having a great time. This is fun. I always have a great time with you guys on here. It's always fun for me. I look forward to it every week, and yeah, it's a blast, and it keeps me sharp because I gotta keep my chops up to be able to do this because I want to represent the products, myself, my channel, and my friends, and all of you well. So I don't want you to feel like you're watching a joke. You know, do I screw up? Yes, I absolutely do, but I try to keep that to a minimum. Great channel, John. Claudio says, well, thank you. I appreciate that very much. Aaron Short says, I sent you a super sticker, Jared. Thanks for providing this awesome show. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. I'll tell you what. Let me do this. Let's play the song. Let's play the quest with Carrie's vocals on it so you guys can hear Carrie. Helix Cabana Boy, Nutbush City Limits. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be playing that. Let's see here. Some EVH Blue Channel boosted. I can fire that amp back up for you guys if you want. Okay, so Mark Bowers, do the song with Carrie's vocals. All right, so I'll do that right now. Let me mute the mic and we'll do it. Again, I haven't played this in a while. Here comes all my excuses, right? So I might screw it up, but who cares? Here we go. Oh my god. Dude. Buy this freaking amp. Holy crap, just buy one. Dude, that thing just killer. It just sounds so great in the mix, the chewiness, like all the crap I already said. This thing's just stupid. Jeez. I love this thing. So inspiring, so full, so fat, so punchy and ridiculous. Sings like a freaking bird. I mean, how do you go wrong with this? It's just stupid. I mean, yeah, I'm honored to be playing through this thing right now. I really am. I just freaking love this amp. It's fantastic. God, I haven't been this inspired in a while. Jeez, I could play this thing all night. It's so nice. You know, I can't say enough good things about it. Let me turn the volume down here. Yeah, I'd have to dial in, the gates a little better here. I had to dial them in for both amps, and I had to kind of make some compromises. That's why I wasn't as tight on those stops. But it doesn't matter. I mean, this thing's freaking ridiculous. I literally thoroughly enjoyed playing through this tonight. So much fun. I feel like a kid with a new toy that's always going to have that new toy feeling every time I play through it. Just ridiculous. So good. Thank you, Astronaut of Bohemia. Thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate it. Bruce Clark, that amp sounds killer with that song. No, you're right, dude. I'm like listening to it, and thank you. I'm listening to it in my in-ears right now, and I want to just kick my door down over here. It sounds so good. It just sounds freaking fantastic. I'm happy angry. It just makes you just, I got veins popping out of my teeth right now just listening to it. It just sounds amazing. And Carrie sounds awesome too, so, yeah. So Carrie, you even like the sound of this, and usually to her, everything just sounds the same, so, yeah, it's killer, man. Wait do you come over here and hear this, next time Sunday night, Carrie, before the show. I'll fire this up for you. You're gonna be blown away at how good this is. And everybody's giving Carrie accolades, and she deserves it. She's a killer singer. And you're awesome. Glad I'm lucky to have you in my band. So, let's see. What gate are you using? Helix Cabana Boy says. Well, there's a gate on the pedal, on the precision drive, but I have it backed off for my solos, and there's gates in the Helix that I have too. But I got them just enough because they're almost to the point where they're going to start choking the volume of the amp down. I had them tighter earlier, but they choked the volume down on the amp too much. So I'll find a sweet spot. But here's the thing, though. I have a cabinet that's like not even 10 feet away from me, and it's loud in here. I got this thing. It's pretty freaking loud. So, and I got the cabinet facing my guitar right now. So, that has a lot to do with it as well. I'm sure if the cabinet was behind me, it probably wouldn't be getting as much noise, but it's okay. It's all fixable, but just this area here, it's just hard to keep it, keep an amp quiet in between chugs, So, Seven Stone Riot Reed says it makes me want to trash my EVH. Dude, I'm just telling you, this is with all due respect to EVH. I love EVH amps. I always have them on the show. I love them. I think they're really good. But the thing is, though, is this is so unique, and it's like, you don't run into these. You don't just go to a pawn shop and see a Victory Kraken, especially a Super Kraken. You don't just walk into any music store and see these. You don't. So, if you can get your hands on one of these, by all means, don't think about it. Just freaking do it. It's an absolute no-brainer. No-brainer. And I know a lot of guys that play a lot of different genres. This amp will fit just about any genre that you play. With or without a boost, it sounds great. It's got its own boost that most of you guys watching will absolutely love the boost that it comes with. If you have digital gear, like I have a Helix right here, you can't see it because it's right here, literally. It'll easily work all the features on this. Every switch on this amp is MIDI programmable if you turn the switch into the null setting. So it's got a on, off, or it's got a, you know, 1 or 2 or a null, and you put it in the null, and all of a sudden MIDI controls it. So all this stuff, like the effects loop, the power amp focus, the cleaner crunch, and the gain 1, gain 2, which are the different channels, all that stuff. Master 1 and 2, you've got 2 master volumes, 1 for each channel. All of that stuff is controlled through MIDI on this amp, which is absolutely fantastic. You know, I really think it's a great way to go. It'll run 2 speakers at once, which I love because then you can get stereo out of it, which I think is great. It's 100 watts. It's only this big. Look at the difference, you know, and it only weighs 27 pounds. You could pick this up easily and not worry about breaking your back. I mean, this thing is 55 pounds. This is 27, so it's pretty much half the weight, you know, and about a third smaller. So, yeah, the Victory Kraken is amazing, and I would definitely suggest going to get one. I'm super inspired to play through this. It's an honor to have this thing on my show. It's an honor to have the EVH on the show. It's an honor to have all you guys here. It's an honor to be sponsored by Motor City Guitar, without I wouldn't be able to do all this stuff, because Motor City provides me with all of the gear that I have on here on Wednesday nights. They're very kind about it and very generous about it. I have to bring it back, but that's okay. I don't expect them to hand me everything. But I'm very appreciative of all that, and so I have to give them another shout out. Let me see if there's any other comments here. Christy, the difference for me were that the 6505 Plus had more low end, but the 100 watt has a really nice and cutting mid range. Yeah, this is a good tight mid focus on this guy too. You know, very, very nice. Aaron Short, Victory or Synergy? Well, Synergy, you know how I feel about Synergy. I love it. Lots of variety. I'm going to say both. I like them both the same, but for different reasons. Sorry, but they're both great, you know. So Astronaut Bohemia says it's $1,000 less than the new EVH 100-watt EVH Stealth. Really, I didn't know that. I really didn't know that. I haven't seen the price of that. I know the new EVH 50-watt Stealth is $12.99, if I'm not mistaken, which I think is a really good deal for that. But, yeah, so didn't know that, though. Bruce Clark, you should keep that amp for sure. It's killer. You know, Bruce, I'm pretty sure I'm going to. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can work something out, because I just, God, would it look nice up there? I think it would look really nice up there, but again, it's more than a prop because I will use it a lot. So it'll look nice up there, and you guys will hear it all the time on the channel. Just for giggles, I'll play it for you guys, and I'll have it on for shootouts and different stuff. So, because it's so unique, you know. Let's see here. Best amp I've heard in a long time, Bruce said. No, you're right. It's great. It really is. Have you tried Yellow Spot whiskey? Kevin's asking. No. I appreciate the you know, the heads up on that, though. I'll try any whiskey. I love whiskey. You know, Carrie and I always enjoy a glass while we're on here live on Sunday nights. So, and we love taking requests, like for people to ask us to try things. So we'll put that on the list. Carrie, make a note. Yellow Spot whiskey. We'll have to give that a try. Thank you. Astronaut Bohemia, if you can talk any U.S. dealers you know of the German-made Driftwood Darkest Nightmare to put against the U.S. Versus the Rev G120, and in the mini category, the Drift Mini Nightmare and versus the Rev G20. You know what? Marty over at Motor City is in discussions right now with Rev. He's going to start carrying Rev, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I know that they're talking about it. So Marty's store, which is Motor City Guitar, might be a Rev dealer soon. And Rev's a great company, so at least we'll be able to get those there most likely. And Marty's pretty open-minded guy. I mean, if there's enough demand for an amplifier, he'll do whatever he can to get it for you. Because that's what that store is about. They're community oriented, and they want people to shop there and have a good experience there. So I'm sure if he can get it, he will. Oh, okay. So Christy says, I'm saying I bought my 6505 Plus and my VX 100 Kraken to rehearsal and compared them last night at band practice. Ah, okay. So which one did you say sounded better at band practice again? Let's see here. Oh, Kevin said it's a bit pricey for the Yellow Dot whiskey. Oh, as long as it's good, I don't care. Yeah, I'll definitely take a look at it. Did someone say whiskey? Carrie says, yeah. She's all about that. For sure, killer amp. Period. Bruce Clark says, no, you're right, Bruce. It's a great amp. Matt Force, what's happening? Man, the Kraken sounds killer. You're right, dude. Matt is. Hey, Matt, is it okay if I tell everybody who you are? I just want to. And by the way, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. Yeah, you're right. It's a killer freaking amp. It really is. I mean, you live near me, so you can come over anytime and plug into it, man. I'm sure you would like it. It's a very inspiring, versatile amplifier. Let's see here. Chris D, it was very interesting to hear them both in a mix. The 6505 Plus is normally my go-to amp. Oh, it's a great amp, dude. I mean, the EVH sounded amazing, too. I mean, I could take either one of these somewhere and anywhere and play. I just kind of like this because, I mean, like I said, for all the reasons I said earlier, you can't get them very easily around here, and they're just very unique. And the hype about these is 100% real, and I love the features and the way it sounds, plays, feels, everything. It's just great, Aaron Short says, it is voice for metal. I know nothing about Victory amps. Oh, is it voice for metal? Well, Rabia was highly involved in dialing this in, and it's voice for metal. I should say it can do rock, it could do metal, it could do classic rock, it could do cleans, it could do all that stuff. The thing is like when people, I think a common misconception with a lot of amps, there are exceptions to what I'm about to say, but if it's voice for metal, you can't use it for anything else. No, just turn the gain down, adjust a few settings, and then it'll. So it's almost like saying, well, a car that goes, 300 miles an hour can't go 55. Yeah, it can. Just go 55 in it. It just has that headroom, So just because it goes 300 doesn't mean you have to go 300. Just because this is voice for metal doesn't mean you have to crank the gain to that setting. You can turn the gain down and play all kinds of stuff like I did earlier on channel 1 with the crunch setting. I played some Bryan Adams stuff. I mean, hopefully I don't get copyright striked. I've tried to change it a little enough so it didn't hit the algorithm, but you can do all kinds of stuff on this amp. Very versatile. Let's see here. Chris D, the 6505, which sounds very much like the EVH, was more aggressive with more low end. No, you're right. The 6505 I've had down here, at least a mini, and that thing is a little beast. I had the gain at 9 o'clock on it, and it was just like, God, man, that thing just had so much rage. Had tons of aggression, almost like it was trying to prove something. So, yeah, I agree. The 6505s are ridiculous amps. Can it do jazz? On the clean channel it can, but I don't play that way. I'm not good enough to play jazz, so I don't know. Chicago Todd, can it do country? It can do country. I think so. I really do. But I think you tell me if I play country on it, it'll explode. So I don't want, unless you want to see an explosion. Have you played a Driftwood? Robert asks. No, I've played Kemper profiles of it, but that stuff goes. I don't know how accurate they are, and I'm sure they're pretty good. But I want to play a Purple Nightmare, and I think it's the Dark Nightmare as soon as I get my hands on them. And I'm going to have Omega on here soon. I'm in talks with them right now. I'm going to get Omega here. I might even get Mike here from Omega with a couple amps, and we could sit down and hang out with you guys. I'll play those in mixes for you guys as well. We can talk about it. So Mike's a local guy. He doesn't live that far from me, so I'm hoping I can have him on here with his amps because I've heard nothing but good things about Omega amps. So we'll definitely get together and do that soon for you guys as well. Um, let's see. Astronaut of Bohemia, is a block letter worth the search? Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, I think any EVH amp is worth the search. I think they're all really good. You know, they all got their own character about them, and they're all really good. Um, Bruce Clark says Kraken is more British sounding amp, killer amp. It is. I can't say enough good things about the Kraken. I really can't. It just sounds absolutely fantastic. So here's what I'm going to do in celebration of having this amp here. Let me do one more mix. I know I've already played this, but I'm just enjoying this so much. Let me play this weird song because and then I can point out some of the riffs at the end of it. You know, that I like. Let me play this real quick. Here we go. God, I could just do that all day. No, it's just one of those amps you want to play the same riff over and over again because you just never get sick of hearing it. It just sounds so freaking good. Wow. Well, I got 38 people here. Let's see here. Ain't no tea and crumpets amp. Great quote for their website. That's what I was telling Aaron earlier. Like, this thing is not tea and crumpets. This is beer and brisket. That's what this thing is. It just sounds killer. Like, it really does. Let's see here. Guys are okay. So I'm just trying to keep up with the comments here. Let's see the tone of the block letter. That's why I come here, Astronaut says. Thinking about getting one. Bruce, I'm telling you, if you get one, you have to tell me how much you like it. You really do. I want to hear from you because I just think it would be nice to see America flooded with these. I think that these should be on stages everywhere, you know, just to add some more flavor. I know one thing. If I showed up to a gig tomorrow with this, all the guitar players would be drooling over it. They would all come over and go, "You got a freaking Super Kraken?" Like, yeah, I just brought it for tonight's show. They'd be like, "Holy crap," you know, everybody would go nuts over it because they're just such holy grail amps and they're hard to find. And, you know, and then after the show, they'd be like, "Dude, that thing sounded killer. It crushed. It absolutely crushed. I'm loving what I'm hearing in my ears, but even more so in the room with the cab. It just freaking sounds amazing. It's a beast. It is rightly named. It's the Super Kraken. You know, we all know what the Kraken is. It's named very well. I think it's the perfect name for it. You know, but the clean channel is like if the Kraken went to charm school. It's very well behaved, and it sounds amazing. So, yeah, definitely get one. Astronaut says, I'm getting an amp soon. I think, oh, I'm married. Don't need to, just gassing. This channel doesn't help. Yeah, we cause divorces and couch riding, you know, everywhere we go. That's kind of what our goal is. You know, we want guys riding the couch every night. It's kind of like the side effect here. Um, yeah, I mean, astronaut. I mean, you know, I don't know what country you're from, but if you're in America, feel free to surf the channel or the web on the link there I posted for Motor City Guitar. They got a lot of great stuff there, and they'll ship it to you if you're in the States. You know, so. Uh, John Patrick, why hasn't everyone hit the thumbs up? Come on, people, give it up. No, thank you. Guys, I really appreciate that. Like, please give me a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm, and what it does is YouTube rewards me not with money. I wish they did, but they'll at least boost the episode so more people will see it. And yes, I do get ad revenue, but it's pennies on the dollar. But I take anything I can get because it's a lot of work. So please give it a thumbs up. Please share it. Share it on your page and say, hey, I just, you know, if you really like the show, please share it on your Facebook page and say, hey, check the show out. It's pretty cool. You know, demos amps live. If we want him to turn knobs, he turns the knobs. He answers questions. I give you like pictures and little clips of all the stuff on the amps. I'll show you right here. Like here's the Kraken. You know, here's some stuff about that. Show some pictures, like all the different ins and outs of it, features and everything. So I do that for you guys, and it's a lot of fun for me to put together for you. And the thing is like, I try to evolve the channel as I go. I try to make it better and better every week for you guys. Like this is a new feature I added. Next week I might add some more stuff for you guys, more tech things. And Dave Rebell and I talked about a lot of tech stuff the other night. And my day got away from me. I wanted to put all that stuff down on a document for you guys and share it with you guys, but I just didn't have the time. I had a bunch of other stuff come up today. But that will be coming soon. Let's see. Christy, can you compare the EVH to it? I missed that part. Maybe do a riff once on each. Yes, Chris, I will do that for you. Let me put the Kraken in standby mode. I'll play a couple riffs on it first for you, and then I'll put it in standby mode. And then it takes me a minute because it's 4 cable and I got to switch everything. But I can fire up the EVH for you again, and we can end with the EVH. That's fine. So let me play a couple riffs on this, and hopefully you'll remember kind of how they sound and everything, and I'll switch them real quick after I mute. I'll play the best riff you can test an amp on right now. Okay, there's no better riff to test an amp on than that. That is the absolute best, the pinnacle. All right, let me just put it in standby and turn her down. Woo, some good heat coming off of this. Wow, that'll heat my house. Yeah, love it. All right, let me put this down. Switch to the EVH real quick for you guys. And then after, on the replay, you can watch it back and A-B them real quick, you know, play them right next to each other. Make sure it's off. ET is off. so this goes here, and these go here. Okay, speakers in, good, power on. Let's see here, yep, good to go. Alright, let's fire this EVH back up here. I'll play it in that mix I just did too for you guys, so you can hear it in a full mix right next to the one I just did in the other one. I got to get an amp switcher down here. Once I get that, it'll be a lot easier. Those are like $1,500 though. Nothing's cheap anymore, is it? All right. Ooh, turn that down. Sounds fantastic. I mean, they're both great. It really depends on what you're going for. If you're going for a more dry, and I mean this in a positive way. I mean, it's just the only way I can describe it. A dry, crumbly, more brittle, and I mean it in a positive way, kind of gain. Then this is your guy. It's just there's a lot of sparks coming off of the top end here, and it stands out in the mix. It's got tons of texture and character. Sounds fantastic. That's why it's a gold standard amp, to be honest with you. It really is. This one, in my opinion, okay, it's got a richness that I really like, and it's a little more focused, but there's a chewy richness, and it's a little wetter. It's just the right kind of texture for me. But again, if all of you were here in the room, half of you would want this and half of you would want that. But both of you, or all of you, would say both are great. I honestly think that way. And I know I sound all PC and I'm not that kind of guy, but I honestly say that with, sincerity. I mean, they're both fantastic choices. And if you got the money, buy both. Because depending on your mood, I'm sure either one would suit your taste very well. So, let me catch up with the comments here. Let's see here. Catch up here. I play in a cover band. Bruce Clark says, hard work. Yeah, it's killer. Yeah, I mean, if you're in a cover band, I mean, yeah, you're lugging gear all the time and you need something versatile. And I think, like I said, depending on what you like tonight, either one would suit your needs very well. Bruce Clark, best demo I have seen on this amp. Good work. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. You know, I try my hardest to put out good content, and I take it seriously. I know we have a little fun here and stuff, but we should be able to do that too. But I practice my rear end off to make sure that I represent the gear properly as good as I can. Yes, I make mistakes, but I try to keep it to a minimum. But and I just share my raw thoughts. And see, here's the thing, like the reason why I like to do this live is because it's raw. It's live, it's raw. There's no processing, there's no cut and paste and double tracks and like, you know, finagling with all of the EQ and compression and all that stuff. There's no EQ, there's no compression, there's no other tracks going on. This is just raw playing with an amp to a backing track, some with vocals, some are just instrumental. But there's no trickery here. It's like, it is what it is, you know, and there's no post-processing. You know, in a lot of videos I've seen in the past, I've bought things based on those videos, like impulse responses, patches that people make for different digital gear, even Kemper profiles, whatever. And sometimes you get lucky and you get something good, but I'm telling you, man, 80% of the time, you're hearing stuff that's so processed, it doesn't sound anything like it was when you download it and purchase it. It just doesn't, and it's just a big fat lie, and I've wasted so much money on stuff like that, and I don't want to do that to you guys. And honestly, I'm not getting paid by Kraken or EVH or anybody. I'm just doing this because I love doing it, and you know, Motor City supports me by allowing me to bring stuff here, and I appreciate that immensely, you know. But I'm not walking out of here tonight a millionaire, you know, and it's okay. I love doing it, but I just want to be a channel and a place where you guys can go and get the truth and get an honest review on gear where there's no tricks, there's nothing up my sleeve. I don't wear sleeves, so you know, you don't have to worry about that stuff. It's just real stuff, you know, and you know, again, like I said earlier, I proved it to you. There's no other guitar tracks on my tracks. It's just bass and drums and vocals and keys. There's no guitar. Unless there's a guitar solo, I'm going to play over a guitar because I, you know, need those notes, you know. But, yeah, I just want to be real with you guys and just have you ask questions. I'll give you an honest answer. You know, I have no reason to tell people to buy something because, again, there's no companies right now that are endorsing my channel and saying, well, push our amp on people or push our platform on. I don't have anybody doing that, you know. So anyways, let's see here. Getting some messages here I'm trying to read. Let's see here. Bruce Clark, are you going through your vintage 30s? Yes. Again, signal chain is this guitar to a you know, precision drive into either one of these amps, out to a Mesa 212, and it's mic'd with a Sennheiser E609 through a mixing console and out to an interface to you guys, and that's pretty much it. There's no EQ, there's no compressors, there's no preamp, mic pre's or anything like that. There's no trickery here. It's all just raw. And I don't even have a blanket or anything over my cabinet tonight. It's just facing me with no blanket or anything. Sometimes I'll put a heavy blanket over it just to kind of make it sound a little fuller, but I don't even have that on there tonight. It's just wide open. And in my ears it sounds great, and I watch the channel after every episode. I go upstairs and fire up my TV and my stereo system and check and make sure the mixes sounded good, and I'm always pretty happy with how everything sounds, and I'm leaving the mics right where they're at because I think if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? And I can't wait to hear this one, you know. Let's see here. The EVH is nice, but you can say but you can't say release the Kraken, Painter Dan. No, you're right, dude. And again, like, you show up to any gig with this and everybody wants to be your friend. That's just cool, you know. It really is. Everyone's going to geek out over your amp. So, yeah, there's a lot of chug on that. Let's see here. EVH is good, but too much high end and gain for me. Bruce Clark says, Kraken for me. Yeah, I mean, I could probably dial some of this back and stuff, but I mean, the EVHs are known. They're just known for being, and I mean this as a complimentary way, kind of unruly. And they sound great in a mix, lots of texture and stuff, and they're gold standard amps. But some guys, like I said, half of us will prefer this, half of us will prefer the Kraken. It's just the way it is. It's just human nature. If you want something a little more refined, but it's got that really nice, chewy richness to it, you know, both of them are great. But it's just what you're looking for. They both have great stuff. Uh, and definitely go to Motor City Guitar and pick out some pedals to go with whatever you buy. Because, man, I'll tell you, they got a great selection there, you know. John Claudio says, I hope I'm pronouncing you guys' names right. I'm sorry if I'm not. Kraken seems to have its own cool identity. No, you're right, dude. It really does. It's very unique. It's just got its own thing going on. And honestly, I think the Kraken is one of those amplifiers where you can pretty much plug anybody into it, and they're not going to have a bad thing to say about it. They're going to be like, "Wow, this thing's great. It sounds amazing." And even the guys that are like, "Oh, it's too much gain." Well, turn the gain down. It's too much gain for me. Turn it down. How does it sound though? How does it feel? Oh, I need an overdrive. Okay, there you go. There's your overdrive. Oh wow, that sounds great. I need more bottom end. Boop. Push a button. You like that? Oh my God, so much bottom end. Okay, cool. Yeah, can I control it with my Helix or my Axe effects? Sure can. Yeah, in fact, you can control the overdrive. You can control the effects loop. You can control on the clean channel if you want it to be crunchy or clean. You can control which master volume you want associated with each channel. I mean, it's just stupid. It's just amazing how they did all that and thought of it. And how much does it weigh? 27 pounds, and it's 100 watts. And they're hand built. And yeah, they're compared to some amps, they might be a little pricier, but $2,000 that's not a lot. It really isn't. It's not an astronomical price because there's amps out there that are $2,000 or even higher, and they don't have half the features that this amp has. They don't have half the versatility this has. They just have some fancy name on it, and there's a guy just trying to rake in the cash based on his name and his legacy. And I guess if you could do that, God bless you. But I'd rather have an amp that has features that I like. It sounds amazing and has all this extra stuff on it that I really will utilize, and for a fair price. Absolutely. So when you compare this to some of the overpriced things out there that have no features on them, I think that this absolutely is a win. I really do. I think it's a win all day long, So, let's see here. Let's see. Chris D says, great, thanks, dude. Chewy and rich. I agree. The Kraken has that. It's thick in the mids. Oh, and you mentioned an amp switcher. The Radical headbone switcher is too... Oh, thank you. I'm going to look into that. I'm going to screenshot this right now. Boop. Yeah, thank you, because I do need to get an amp switcher, because my idea down here, what I really want to do, is to be able to, like, in the middle of a mix, switch amps. And you guys can hear, like, oh, wow, A-B, direct comparison, like, well, I just heard that amp sound in a comparison in a mix right next to another one, and you could really do that. And I want to have like 3 or 4 amps down here where I could just hit a button and switch through each one. Let me ask you this: will it work 4-cable method? Well, that's what I want. I want to be able to run a 4-cable method through an amp switcher and switch through all the amps. If not, I can just put an overdrive in the chain and just deal with no effects, I guess. But I'd prefer to have something that will work with 4-cable method switching, because that'll help me big time. And again, that's my goal. I want to come down here and literally switch amps in a mix, inside of a mix, and let you guys hear a direct comparison. That's the best that you can do. Otherwise, like on the rewatch, you can kind of, hit the timestamps and see, But, and I have guys do that all the time and message me with their thoughts. But that would be better, especially in the live situation. So thank you for that. Let's see here. Darth Vapor, your tone is top shelf. Thank you. As Good as any channel live heard on YouTube, Jared. Thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate it. That means the world to me. I can't even tell you the hours I've put into setting this up initially. Now I got it dialed in now so that I can literally come down here and within about an hour, with the tracks and the different amps, I got everything kind of dialed in the way I want. Where it used to be like I'd be down here several hours. And now that it's kind of set up, I'm kind of on, I wouldn't say autopilot, but I got about 80% of the work done already. So I could just come down here, plug everything in, adjust volumes, play the mix a few times, and I'm good. And it's really the initial work that I put in months ago really is starting to pay off. So I appreciate that very much. Um, let's see here. So many options now, Aaron says. No, you're right. You're right, Aaron. And Aaron, since you're English, you have to get one of these. And I think that you just have to. Um, let's see here. All right, well, looks like I caught up to everybody. Well, I hope that you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. I had a blast tonight. I sincerely did. I really had fun. I appreciate all of the interaction. I appreciate the comments, the questions, the suggestions, all of it, because I'm here to learn from you guys too. I don't know everything. I just know what I know, and I want to share it with you, and I want you to share with me what you know as well. And I feel like every time I do one of these live streams, I walk away a better person and somebody who knows more than I did before I started the live stream. And I appreciate all the comments and everybody here very much. I don't know what I'm going to have on here next week, but please like the channel, follow the channel, hit subscribe, hit that bell, and check the community section in the channel, because I always post like a picture of like what the next live stream is going to be about. And love to have you guys there. And feel free to reach out to me. I'll put my email in here after I'm done on the description. And if you have any suggestions or questions, I do help people with their gear. It's something I do on the side for a nominal fee. I can help you hook up your gear or troubleshoot things or whatever. So whatever you guys want. But again, thank you so much for being here. I can't express enough how honored I am that you're here. Appreciate it. And I'll be live with Carrie on Sunday night at 7 o'clock with some more stuff. And, I appreciate it. And make sure you check us out then. I'm so hungry I can't even talk. Thank you so much, guys. God bless you all. And I will see you all very soon.